Prabhupada ki jai. So we are going to read chapter number 15 of Srila Prabhupada Lilamrita. As of today, we have covered until chapter number 14, and in the last chapter, we learned how Srila Prabhupada was in America, and he traveled from Butler, Pennsylvania, to New York. And after coming to New York, then he was staying with one Dr. Mishra, Ram Mishra. He was a yoga teacher, and Srila Prabhupada was staying at his yogas first at his apartment building, and then he was shifted from that apartment building to his yoga studio, a back room where it was really dark, no windows, and Prabhupada ji used to stay there all the time, and he used to walk because there was no kitchen, so he used to walk every day to uh, Dr. Ramamurthy Mishra's apartment, and he used to cook every day there. He never not only used to cook for himself but for Mishra, Dr. Mishra also. And Dr. Mishra at that time was not really good at health, but eating the prasadam which was cooked by Srila Prabhupada, he regained his health. Right, so that was, and then Srila Prabhupada, while this Ramamurthy Mishra, he was a doctor, medical doctor. He, even though he was a medical doctor, had he had stopped practicing because now he was more into yoga training part, and he was teaching everybody yoga in Sanskrit language. And at his yoga studio, many Westerners used to come there to learn yoga. Uh, However, at these yoga studios, he never allowed Prabhupada to give lecture or classes on Bhagavad Gita because he was impersonalist. He was a Shankaracharya follower. And he allowed Prabhupada to do kirtan because everybody enjoyed Prabhupada's kirtan, but he never allowed Prabhupada to speak much. Uh, while Prabhupada was there, Prabhupada was trying to meet people individually and trying to explain them the meaning of the word yoga and how Krishna consciousness, how bhakti is related with the yoga. Srila Prabhupada is alone all throughout. There is not much of a support. Like he's not having any money to start preaching on a wider scale. He's trying to distribute the books, and at the same time, his visa also is expiring now, and he has a visa only left until like a November of that month when he arrived. So he had visa only for 2 months. So he is requesting for help from everybody. So he requested a help to his god brother. He wrote a letter to his god brother Tirth Maharaj, who is in India, and Srila Prabhupada wrote a letter to him saying that if you all agree to help me to spread the mission of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, then I can extend my visa here. Otherwise, there is no point for me staying here. But then Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj wrote him back saying that he's not going to help him. They do not have enough resources. So Prabhupada replied to him saying that it is not a very encouraging reply. Still, I am not the man who will get disappointed very quickly. So Prabhupada never used to get disappointed by unfavorable circumstances. Then he also wrote a letter to Mrs. Morarji also, and he wrote a letter saying that Mrs. Morarji, please help me. I'm here to spread the message of Krishna consciousness, Bhagavad Gita, and if you help me to uh, help me in spreading the Krishna consciousness, because Prabhupada wanted to establish a center here in America. He had seen a space also. He had seen a nice facility, and he had also put an offer to one of the real estate agents there while he was there. So he requested Mrs. Morarji, can you please help me? While he was there in America, he also got an invitation to give a talk at a Tagore Society of New York to give a lecture on Krishna consciousness. That this is all happening in 1965, and November of 1965, Prabhupada's visa is expiring, and he is now thinking of who can help me, how can I get a help. So he writes a letter to Mrs. Morarji, and there is the chapter number 15 starts with the title, "It will not be possible to assist you." So here you see the title itself is discouraging, that Prabhupada is asking for the help, and the title says that it will not be possible to assist you, which means that he didn't get a help from the people whom he was asking the help uh, for his preaching in America. So the chapter begins with a paragraph here, a letter from a letter to Mrs. Morarji, Miss Sumati Morarji, who is the owner of Scindia Shipping Company. So here, Venkata Prabhu, do you want to read this?
Yes, sir. Hare Krishna. I have come here in this old age, neither for sightseeing nor for any personal interest. It is for the interest of the entire humanity that I am trying to implement the science of Krishna, which will actually make them happy. So it is the duty of every devotee of Lord Krishna to help me by all means. From a letter to Sumati Murati.
So here Prabhupada is writing, thank you, Prabhuji, that he's now 70 years old. He's not here for sightseeing in America, seeing how the city looks like, but he is for the interest of entire humanity at large. And he wants to spread the message of Krishna consciousness, which will make everybody happy. So he is here and he's asking for the help from Mrs. Morarji. Now you see, this is a month of November and December. You see, November and December are pretty cold in North America. We all are in Toronto, Thunder Bay, and same is in New York. It's pretty cold, right? Prabhupada is here in America, and he is coming for the first time at the age of 70 years, and he does not have many resources. Like, when we come to America, we wear pant and shirt, and we wear the jacket, one jacket, two jacket, gloves, cap, shoes. We have all the things. But Prabhupada ji came to America and he did not have any of this, right? Prabhupada's experience in America is also described here in this chapter, uh, that how difficult it was for him, for an old sannyasi to come and stay in New York, actually. So uh, here the December month is here, and the chapter describes this. Uh, November and December came, and Prabhupada, having obtained an extension on his visa, stayed on. America seemed so opulent. So many things were difficult to tolerate. There were sirens and bells from fire engines, and police cars seemed like they would crack his heart. So all the noise of America is described. And further, it describes that although it was a rich city, New York, but Prabhupada, it was not a clean and nice city. He could see the dog litter everywhere. People were shouting, making noise. But Prabhupada had this dream that, he always had dreamed that, the Sankirtan movement will spread all over the world. He always had a desire. Now, when Prabhupada is walking daily, um, the lot of wind, you know, on the winter day, the wind and extraordinary cold can make your body go numb, right? But Prabhupada still in this serious winter also used to go for a walk, uh, because he had to go for cooking to the Mr. Ramamurthy Mishra's place, right? So Prabhupada, not much having clothing, like here it says, Srila Prabhupada wore a coat Dr. Mishra had given him, but he never gave up wearing his dhoti despite the cold, windy walks. No, it's not about dhoti, but it is all about his Western way. He never took the Western way of eating, drinking, wearing clothes. When he was in America, there was a Swami Nikhilananda of Ramakrishna Mission. He advised him that he should give up his traditional Indian dress and wear the Western dress. But Prabhupada did not accept that. He didn't accept meat eating, liquor, uh, like that. He did not wear those things. Uh, Even while he was leaving to America, one of his god brother, he asked him, to learn knife and fork eating. But Prabhupada always eating with the hand. Never he gave up his traditional way of living. So Prabhupada's life is very simple living, uh, uh, and he did not compromise for a sannyasi's philosophy, sannyasi's way of living. When Prabhupada, everybody used to ask Prabhupada to compromise his way, Prabhupada said that I have not come here to beg something, so why should I compromise? But I have come here to give something, right? So he was here not to take anything from the Western world, but he was here to give Krishna consciousness. So he never compromised his principles of Krishna consciousness. While Prabhupada is walking around, he meets one Mr. Robin, who is a Jewish person from Turkey, and they are sitting on a bench and they are talking to each other. Uh, so this Mr. Rubin, who is a Jewish man, he says here he is dealing with Srila Prabhupada. Is Sujata Mataji there? She wants to read
Yes,
this.
Prabhuji.
You want to read this, Mr. Rubin?
Yes, yes, Prabhuji. Mr. Rubin. He seemed to know that he had have temple filled up with devotees. He would look out and say, I am not a poor man. I am rich. There are temples and books. They are existing. They are there. But the time is separating us from them. He always mentioned we and spoke about the one who sent him, his spiritual master. He did not know people at that time, but he said, I am never alone. He always looked like a lonely man to me. That's what made me think of him like a holy man, Elijah, who always went out alone. I don't believe he had any followers.
Thank you, Mataji. So here, this Jewish man, he's saying that when he saw Srila Prabhupada in the garden, he used to talk with Srila Prabhupada. They used to talk about it, and he saw that the Prabhupada is alone. But Prabhupada used to say that no, I'm not alone. I see that there are many temples, many books being sold, and there are lots of devotees in the temples. But he did not know many people at that times. But he said that okay, everything is existing, but it is just the time which is separating us. And he always thought that he was not alone, but his spiritual master, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, was always with him to help him out for spreading the message of Krishna consciousness. So that gentleman compared him with one of the famous figure from the Jewish philosophy, Elijah. He did not. He was also alone, but Srila Prabhupada ji never felt that he was alone. He was always accompanied by his guru's blessing. So Prabhupada ji now is in America, in New York, and he's trying to meet different people. And he's traveling by bus, by train, and he's visiting various places. Like he visits Central Library in New York, and there he finds that there are some of his Srimad Bhagavatam volumes, which Srila Prabhupada, while he was in India, he had sold some of his Srimad Bhagavatam volumes, which he translated from Sanskrit to English, to US Embassy in New Delhi. And those Bhagavatam volumes, he found it in Central Library on 42nd Street. So Prabhupada ji was really happy to see that, oh, the Bhagavatam sets are here. year now, from Delhi to America, right? So he really became happy to see that the things were there. And then he walked to New India House, where there's a consulate office there in America. And there was Mr. Malhotra there at the consulate office. So he used to meet them and ask them their help for spreading message of Bhagavad Gita and Bhagavatam. Actually, this consulate general office had helped him to arrange his lecture at Tagore Society. Right. So in this way, Prabhupada while in America, trying to meet different people and trying to see how he can develop contacts, social connections, so that he can spread the message of Krishna consciousness. While he was walking around, he was looking at various buildings, and he was looking like which building can be used for service of Krishna. How this some of these buildings can be used to make a beautiful temple of the Krishna. So he was always watching the buildings. Now, Prabhupada, while in America, he also following the headlines of the newspapers, and one of the headlines says that on December 2nd, 1965, the New York City hospitals report marked rise in LSD cases admitted for care. Another heading reads, "Protest against US participation in Vietnam War mount." So here you can see that two main phenomena happening in America at that time. One is young people addicting to drugs like LSD, and second thing is the Vietnam War. So these are two uncertain situations happening in the society at that time. So these are the things which are not favorable uh, for uh, for any particular person to carry out a new venture. You know, because if the war is happening, you have to think 10 times before you start any venture. So weather is becoming cold, uh, and Christmas is arriving, and Prabhupada is uh, he's bearing the cold, walking around the streets and seeing the Christmas decor everywhere. Um, he is also visiting different shops at that time, and there are different bookstores he visits. Like some of the bookstores' names are Orientalia, Sam, Weisers, Dubley, Paragon, and others. So he is visiting all the bookstores. Where why? Because he wants to sell his Srimad Bhagavatam set there. So one of the bookstore owner, Mrs. Ferber, so she's the proprietor, and she considered Prabhupada as a pleasant and extremely polite gentleman. Uh, So Prabhupada goes to her shop in New York, and he requests everybody, all the booksellers, can you keep my Bhagavatam set and sell the books? So Prabhupada went to her shop one time, and she didn't accept the book Srimad Bhagavatam. But then Prabhupada went again, saying, "Can you keep some of the Bhagavatam here to sell?" And then she said, "Okay, I will keep some Bhagavatam sets." So then every week Prabhupada comes to her shop, and then he would give her the Srimad Bhagavatam. Uh, Prabhupada kept all his books at this lady's, Mrs. Ferber's bookstore. And Prabhupada, when he needed some, he used to come from her shop and take some away, like that. So she used to keep all the Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada used to talk to her over the phone also and ask her about the selling of the books. So here is one quote from Mrs. Ferber, who is the bookstore owner in New York, and she's describing about her experience with Srila Prabhupada. Venkata Prabhu, you want to read?
Yes, sir. Mr. Spielberg, every time he came, he would ask for a glass of water. If a customer would make it such a request, I would ordinarily say, there is the water cool. But because he was an old man, I couldn't tell him that. Of course, he was very polite always, very modest, and a great scholar. So Whenever he would ask, I would fetch him a cup of water personally.
Thank you,
Hare
Prabhu.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So Prabhupada is visiting her bookstore, and when Prabhupada ji come, old man, right, 70 years old man coming to her shop, then uh, he would say, "Can you give me a glass of water?" And then she said, "Oh, okay, I will come." And otherwise, normally he would ask people to grab the water by himself. So one time, while the conversation, Prabhupada asked her, "What do you like Indian food?" And she said, "I like samosa." So next time, Prabhupada prepared samosas for her and brought it for her like that. So he always wanted to distribute the mercy of Krishna. Then there is one visitor. His name mentioned is Harvey Cohen. He used to visit Srila Prabhupada's room in the building where Dr. Rama Mishra used to own the ashram. Used to have a yoga studio. Sorry. So in that building, this Mr. Harvey Cohen used to travel every day uh, because he met Srila Prabhupada first at the ashram of Rama Mishra, Ananda Ashram. So then he came to know that Prabhupada is staying here in this building. So he used to come and ask some questions and talk to him like that. So here is a small paragraph describing his interaction, Mr. Harvey Cohen's interaction with Srila Prabhupada. So, Sujata Mataji, you want to read this? Harvey saying,
Yes, yes. Harvey. The room he occupied was a tiny office in the back the Yoga Society in uptown Manhattan. I began to go there regularly, and we sat facing each other on the floor in this little office with his typewriter and a new type recorder on top of two suitcases. And there was a box of books he had brought from India and a color reproduction of dancing figures which he looked at often. I told Swami Bhaktivedanta that I was an artist, and he asked me to please paint the pictures of the dancers, which he explained was of Lord Chaitanya and his disciples. The painting was called Sankirtana. Whenever I came to visit him, Swami would always be happy to see me. I told him about myself, and we chanted Hare Krishna together in his room many nights that winter. I would get the I would get the train up down from my apartment to go to see him.
thank you, Mataji, thank you so much. So, Mr. Harvey Cohen, every time he take from his residence, he will take a train, go to see Swami Bhaktivedanta, and uh, the Prabhupada environment is very humble. Prabhupada is sitting on the ground, and he has a typewriter and tape recorder, keeping the typewriter and tape recorder on the couple of suitcases because there is no table there, right? And Prabhupada is dictating the books and writing the books. And the there is a Chaitanya Mahaprabhu poster there where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all associates dancing and jumping and doing kirtan. And he asked Hari Cohen to paint a picture of Sankirtan also. They used to have a conversation of chanting Hare Krishna. Then 19 January comes, 1966. It's still winter in New York, and there is a news that Lal Bahadur Shastri, Prime Minister of India, died. Now this is very significant because Srila Prabhupada knew Lal Bahadur Shastri, who was a Prime Minister, and he had promised him. He was admirer of Srila Prabhupada's Bhagavatam work, and Prabhupada ji wanted some funds to be transferred from India to America for building the temple. So Lal Bahadur Shastri was favorable for the transfer of funds for the Prabhupada purpose. But then when he died all of a sudden, while he was in, Lal Bahadur Shastri was in Tashkent at that time, there was a heart attack and he died. So Prabhupada ji had a plan to buy a building on 143 West. Here is the address. Building at 143 Second Avenue Street. Right. So that was the building Prabhupada ji had built. So there was an offer also. right? It was like 110,000 or some dollars offer. And Prabhupada had planned that he will request at least some money from India and rest will be the mortgage and the building will be there. So the realtor had shown him the building, and he had already prepared mentally the interior designer, DT worship, distribution of prasadam, and money was supposed to come from India. And Prime Minister Shastri was supposed to facilitate this, but suddenly he died. So now there was a problem. So then Prabhupada writes a letter uh, to the owner of the building, who is Mr. A.M. Hartman. And he said that, oh, now there is a problem. Prime Minister Mr. Lal Bahadur Shastri is suddenly dead, and I am greatly perplexed. As there is now great difficulty for getting money from India, I am requesting you to allow me to use the building for the International Institute of God Consciousness, at least for some time. Your building is vacant for so many days without use. So I learned that you are paying the taxes, insurances, and other things, and you have no income. So if you allow us to use it for the public institution, you can save on the taxes and other charges which you are paying for now. So so he's saying that if I can start the institution immediately, certainly I shall be able to get sympathy locally, and in that case, I may not be required to get money from India. I'm also requesting that your honor, become one of the directors of this institute, because you still give a place to start the institute. So he says that, okay, you become the part of this international society. We'll start some Krishna conscious programs, and you help me, and then slowly, as I get the money, I'll pay you. But then Mr. Hartman was not interested. He refused this proposal of Srila Prabhupada. So Prabhupada, no money coming from India, and he has seen a building already, and he is interested in starting a temple. This is the third month of his staying in America, and he's already thinking of building a temple in America. This gentleman, old man, sannyasi, having no money, thinking of building a temple in America. So that's a huge, huge endeavor, right? So then again, he writes another letter to one famous person, Mr. Singhania. He's a very rich man in India, and uh, he is the director of a very large organization in India, and he knew the family from India. So Prabhupada writes to Mr. Singhania for the help because he wants to build a temple. So Mr. Singhania replies to Prabhupada's temple letter, and Mr. Singhania says, "Dear Swamiji, I've gone through your letter, and I'm very glad to note that you want to build a temple of Sri Radha Krishna in America, in New York. But there are two difficulties. What is the first difficulty? He says that I am finding it difficult for the money to send from India to America because of the government rule and regulation. And second, you are asking for just $110,000. Now it's just like 7 lakh rupees at that time, right? So he says that this is a very small amount, and you're thinking of building a temple in a small facility, but my desire is to build an opulent temple in America, very big, like a marble temple with a proper. So my budget is more than 110,000. So uh, he's saying that I do not want to build a small temple, and I do not have money. I have no way to send the money to America because government will not allow. So then Prabhupada ji, okay, he's not in agreement with Srila Prabhupada. But then Prabhupada ji said, okay, uh, if you really want to build a magnificent temple in New York, it will cost many, many thousands, millions of dollars, right? Now, if America, government of India is not allowing to send even $110,000 to send to America, how will government of India will allow sending millions of dollars to build this big temple? It's not possible. So basically, Prabhupada ji was trying to convince him that if you start small and then you can build on this, right? So, but then Prabhupada ji is giving the reasoning to Mr. Singhania that there is a Lord Dwarkadesh. who lived in the Dwarka with opulence, right? And then Lord Krishna in the Vrindavan staying in the forest. So let's begin Krishna staying in the Vrindavan. And then one day when we have enough resources, we can make him Dwarkadish in America. But let's start Krishna of Vrindavan first. We're just staying in a forest with a small, humble beginning. Always, Prabhupada ji started very small, and then slowly, slowly it built up. But Mr. Singhania doesn't want to do that. He wants to pick a big, big temple. So then he is trying to request Prabhupada ji at the same time, trying to request his god brothers. One of the god brothers, Bon Maharaj. So he is a director of the Institute of Oriental Philosophy in Vrindavan. And he asked Bon Maharaj for the help and asked him that, can you send a deity of Radha Krishna? Because I want to build a temple of Krishna. And if you can send me a deity of Radha Krishna, I can establish here in temple. So the small deities of Radha Krishna, about 14 inches deities, yeah, so that he can start. So then Bon Maharaj replied, uh, Bon Maharaj's reply was that, uh, sorry, Shil Prabhupada, so Bon Maharaj replied that the deity worship would be, he warned against the deity worship. He said, don't start with the deity worship because it's too much responsibility of Radha Krishna. So then Prabhupada responded him. He says that, I think that after temple has started, some man, even from America, may be available. As I see, they have at Ramakrishna Mission as well as in many yoga societies. So I'm trying to open a temple here because Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati wanted it. So his god brothers didn't want him to open a temple in America with the deities. Srila Prabhupada requested his god brother that, can you help me to connect with some government authorities in India, so that Mr. Singhania, if he wants to send the money to Prabhupada, he can get the money. But never received any reply from positive reply from his Bon Maharaj also. Uh, Srila Prabhupada wanted Bon Maharaj to convey the message to even President of India, Dr. Radhakrishnan. Dr. Radhakrishnan was known to Bon Maharaj. So he said, can you request him that he can help send some money from India to America? But I mean, nothing worked out like that. Prabhupada ji is in America. He's playing to Lord for help. And there's a lot of January 22nd, Prabhupada ji writes in the diary, there's a heavy snowstorm on that side. And temperatures were minus 10 degrees also. And Prabhupada still in this, there is a state of emergency in America at this time. Prabhupada continues daily walk, and he had to walk through the heavy snow, only a thin dhoti underneath his overcoat. It's a very nice description, and wearing a Swami hat. Not favorable at all, right? Wearing a thin dhoti in a snowstorm, piles of snow, and he's walking through with very little clothing. There's piles of snow everywhere. There's a snow clearing going on. People are walking around, and uh, he just watching people doing their routine work here. At that time, there is also the Korean War. First of substantial increase since the Korean War, and the month-long peace ended with U.S. Air Force bombing North Vietnam. So Vietnam, there is a war has started, and the New York transit strike ended after 3 weeks, and the transit labor leader died in a jail of heart attack. So there is a political environment here that there's a war has begun in with Vietnam and America. So now this is January 30, and again it's a serious winter. Um, all the storms and emergencies declared. There's a war going on with Vietnam, and Prabhupada ji is thinking that, oh, this is all sign of Kali Yuga now. because the Kali Yuga is taking its own route, and there is going to be always a misery in the Kali Yuga. But at the same time, while there are miseries, we should not stop our service to Sri Radha Krishna and chanting Hare Krishna mantra. So Prabhupada is still chanting every day and thinking about distributing the books and spreading the message of Krishna consciousness. Uh, he again writes, he keeps on writing the letters to Bon Maharaj, Singania, but even after writing his letter, nobody is helping us. Here, one of the letters says, Srila Prabhupada writes, Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta wanted such temples in the foreign countries like New York, London, Tokyo, and I had personal talks with him when I met him in Altadanga in 1922. Now here is a chance for me to carry out this transcendental order. I am just seeking your favor and mercy in making this attempt successful. So he's keep on writing the letters to everybody, but discouragements were always there, right? So uh, here is one of the letter from Singania. He says that I'm afraid that I cannot agree with your suggestion that you should buy a small house and erect something on the top of it. Unfortunately, such kind of proposal will not suit me. The temple must be small one, but it must be constructed properly. I quite agree that you cannot spend a lot of money at present, but within the amount the government may sanction, you should build something according to the architecture of Indian temples. Then only will we be able to create some impression on the American people. This is all I can write to you in this connection. I'm very grateful for your taking the trouble of writing me. So here Singania indirectly refusing to help Srila Prabhupada. So, but Prabhupada did not take this as a final letter of refusal. He had a hope that Singania would definitely help one day or other. Uh, now, Srila Prabhupada, this is February 1965. Prabhupada has spent 4 months in America, and now he was until staying in a dark room in the same building where Mr. Ramamurti, Dr. Ramamurti Vishra had an ashram. Now had a yoga studio, sorry, and now he finds his own room in the same building. So now he says, I have changed my room to room 307 from 501 to 307 in the same building as above mentioned for better air and light. Because where he was staying before, there was no light, no air at all, no windows. So now he is acquired of his own. So he's probably paying the rent for it. huh? So, according to Dr. Ram Mishra, Srila Prabhupada moved in order to have his own place, independent of Mishra Yoga Society, because he would not allow him to stay in a proper place. So now he has found a better place. So now Prabhupada, 1965 February, he is writing a letter to India also for his book distribution. So there's a book Universal Book House in Bombay who are selling his books in India. So he says that I'm establishing Radha Krishna temple. Can you please promote my books more, and I can collect some money which can come here for building a temple in America. But not much of the book are being sold in India. Also, Srila Prabhupada's books are not doing well. And uh, there's one reply from the bookstore owner in India. He says here, uh, Venkata Prabhu, you want to read?
I cannot give you very detailed of the same object, but the subject is religious and only a small section of society members.
Prabhu, I
We
can't
try
hear.
to
Your sound is not clear, Prabhu.
I will be simple.
Yeah, this is better.
But I cannot give you very happy news on the progress of the sale of Srimad Bhagavatam because the subject is religious and only a small section of society may personally be interested in the books. We try to push them through some booksellers to Nagpur, Ahmedabad, Pune, etc. But regret to inform you that after some time, these booksellers return the books for want of response. As such, we are not only unenthusiastic to agree to your proposal of taking up sales for all India, but we were just thinking of requesting you to nominate some other people in our place to represent your sale program in Maharashtra.
Thank you, Roji. So here Prabhupada writing a bookseller in India to to increase the books, and the bookseller in India, who is a distributor, is saying that, oh, your books are not doing well. We haven't sold any books. Actually, they just gave 127 rupees at that time for selling few of the Prabhupada books. Not much of the book sale was going on. So there's not encouraging news to Srila Prabhupada also. So here it says that they transfer the 172 rupees. That's the small amount which they book sold the book. It was not much encouraging. Uh, so now is Prabhupada trying to somehow or other uh, just hang there, hang it there. He's trying to stay there somehow or other. And then he receives a reply, final reply from Singhania's secretary. And he says that he writes a letter to Prime Minister of India, Indira Gandhi, to help him transfer the money from India to America in March. And Indira Gandhi's secretary writes here, Dear Swamiji, Prime Minister has seen your letter of February 88, 1966. She appreciates the spirit which prompted you to carry the spiritual message of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam to other countries. Owing to the critical foreign exchange situation which the country is facing, it is greatly regretted that it will not be possible to assist you from here in your plan to set up a Radhakrishna temple in New York. So, the Indian government has refused that no money can be sent from India to America for building the temple. So Prabhupada ji has that door closed from America. But Prabhupada ji is writing, he had other hopes. After writing to the Prime Minister, he had written again to Tirtha Maharaj, asking him to request the President of India to intervene into this, Dr. Radhakrishnan, so that he can get the money from India to build a temple. But no answer was received from Tirtha Maharaj also. So no, none of his god brothers are helping him. Government is not helping him. The private donors are not willing to help him. So nothing is favorable for Srila Prabhupada at this time. But still, he's not given up the hope. He writes again to Mr. Singhania, please help me. And there is no reply. He writes to Mrs. Morarji that I want some Mridangam here to spread the message, to do the kirtan. Can you please help me ship some Mridangam from India to America with one of your boats? And also need some man from India who can help me. But there was no such reply from her as well. So he's not getting any reply now. Nobody's replying him because keep on writing, Shil Prabhupada writing, and nobody's replying. Financial situation is becoming urgent, uh, and nobody from India is replying. Everybody is saying that we cannot help you. So that is what it is. So there is not much encouragement to Srila Prabhupada, but only hope for here is Srila Prabhupada is that his trust in order of his spiritual master and desire to serve Lord Shri Krishna. There's no other hope for Prabhupada here. Government has definitely said no. Mr. Padmapat Singhania has said no, and nobody is helping it out. His god brothers are not helping out. There's one reply here from Mr. Ishwara Iyer, who is Singhania's secretary. He's writing here, I regret to write that Sri Padmapat Singhania ji is not interested in scheme of building a Radhakrishna temple in America at this time. In regard to your inquiry contained in last paragraph of your letter, Sir Padmapatji duly received your books of Srimad Bhagavatam from your Delhi office. That's it. That's the last reply from Singhania. He never replied after that. So, uh, a tiny man, old man, walking in a Manhattan street and having no support, thinking of building an international headquarters there, international society there. Very, very challenging situation for Srila Prabhupada. And his only hope is the blessing of Lord Krishna and his Guru Maharaj. He had a desire to provide Radha Krishna temple in New York, but seems like at this time in the winter of 1965-66, it's not possible at this time. But not a day went by when he did not work on his Krishna book and Srimad Bhagavatam. Throughout, he is translating. Not a day went by when he did not offer food to Lord Shri Krishna and speak on Krishna philosophy of Bhagavad Gita. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, "For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost to him, and he is never lost to me." So, and also, Lord Krishna says to Arjuna, "My devotee will never vanquish her." Hey Arjuna, you declare boldly, "Name bhaktya pranashyati." So here Prabhupada has a deep faith, and he is hoping that one day there will be a big temple of Lord Shri Krishna in America. So with that, we will pause our session for today. We can see that Prabhupada is struggling by himself. No hopes, no help is coming from anywhere. But should Prabhupada never give up? Somebody like myself would have returned back to India. But Prabhupada still having a hope against hope. That's an unbelievable faith in Krishna consciousness. Venkata Prabhu, your realizations.
Yes, Prabhuji, I think it's just so many setbacks. So one